Genesis is the first book. I'm going to tell you what is happening these days reading Genesis. Have you had any questions? There is one chapter where it says that they did not know their husband, but they were married. I don't understand how you see it. You who have attended seminaries, graduated from schools, those who are pastors, and say that gays should be, they are not of God. Yes, this is what you are instilling in our parents. This responsibility is hanging on you, do you understand? On you, friends, pastors and priests. I am addressing you because you don't see anything in one head that you should know. Yes, again proving that this is the most modern book of our days with you. That's why I say I will finish reading and answer your questions, and it will happen here. Hello, my children. Each of you could be standing in my place right now, but you are not standing exactly because you are mired. That's what happens again with people like me. And I stand up in defense of why, yes. Because we are from the opposite, it turns out, right? There are fewer of us. We live in a straight town. Yes, here is one who lives in the city of Straight, where he is guarded. And the government also says that this is propaganda. Someone is doing something. Well, here's the question to this. What does a person do? From a very young age, he locks himself in a closet and then sits there poor all his life. Yes. In other words, I have already been overwhelmed by the fact that I need to hide something all my life. Something needs to be explained to me somehow. And now it's like this in general, when I'm 40 years old, and these endless questions: are you not married? Where are your children? My children are my Bible. That's it. My wife is the Bible. Close the topic on this score. That's it. Now listen to me carefully, the minority. And Genesis the 19th chapter first. And those two angels came in the garden on the evening, when Lot was sitting at the gate of Sodom. Yes. Well, let's do it right away, so that it's clear. Lot is sitting, a man, at the gates of Sodom. He wasn't sitting near his house, was he? And he was sitting at the gates of the city. Immediately, yes, which is already strange. If you're waiting for guests, you're not waiting there at the city limits, right? Well, let's explain it right away, and in our words. It is already strange that he is sitting at the gates of the city, yes, if on the worldly. But I'm explaining something to you. And the fact that this is a parable, there are many very interesting ones. There are very interesting moments going on. And it's the damage that happens, that appears, you walk by. Well, let's take now, for example, not a minority. Here is a bakery. Yes. And you walk past her every day. This something smells delicious. Should I go in already? And you are this. You don't want to get fat, for example, do you? Here. Well, in the end, you walk. You looked in once. You looked in twice. Yes, there, or you have a desire of some kind, and you will go there sooner or later. Yes. And here the question is not about propaganda, right? The question here is because we are people. The Lord created us, especially you, for everyone, probably for sure, a familiar phrase that you are not. Surely everyone has heard about someone, yes, maybe not about you personally, but about someone that everything that moves. That's what we're talking about. Yes, here are those who are all that moves, they go to these bakeries. Roughly speaking, yes. By bakery we mean gay. Yes. Well, as if there are girls there too. Do you understand? Because girls love gays. They don't want anything from them. They will also treat you. You know, gays with girls. And then you don't have to go anywhere with them. There is no way to pay them. Well, sort of. Says thank you in some way. How are these all moving here? Usually they are asked to say thank you. Well, we're talking about angels and demons, because that's what I'm talking about here. The Bible, she talks about angels and demons. Often, for the most part, yes. This is what we are going to talk about now, yes. And that is, it is strange that he is waiting for guests not near his house, but at the entrance to the city. Yes, if we understand that the city. This implies this sin of debauchery. He had an idea. He's sitting at the gate. Go there? When Lot saw them, he got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground. Here he understands that he is not. I'm here with another mission shorter. I won't come in, yes. He speaks to his kind thoughts there or to the Lord God. Yes, he turns, says, Lord, take these thoughts away from me. It's not my topic at all, and I don't need to go there. And again, everything is so subtle, right? He sits in the evening, not in the morning, never. When do nightclubs open here? Yes. Well, roughly speaking. Can we postpone our time? Since the beginning of time. And speaking in the language of the Old Testament, or those who know the Bible, the Lord decided to test Lot one more time for loyalty in his old age. That is, in the evening. Lot is sitting one step away from the city of debauchery. You'll be surprised now how modern it is, and every moment is marked, right? He sits in the evening again, yes. And a little bit of it is the guests at night, right? Why is it necessary to emphasize this? Well, because everything starts happening to us at night, as a rule. And he said, my lords, go into your servant's house and spend the night, and wash your feet, and get up in the morning, and go on your way. And they said, no, we're sleeping on the street. The third one. But he strongly begged them, and they went to him and came to his house. He made them a treat and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. Here are brothers and sisters who know. Here you have no one had a question that Lot is waiting for guests, okay, outside the city, who were sent to him by his father. He begs them to come home. They stand there and break down. No, we're not going to go and spend the night here on the street. In the city where do you think there are monsters, right? And I'll explain to you what kind of picture my father paints here. Here he just addresses both minorities and non-minorities with the words that you are a minority and singles and those who are a couple. You do not meddle with couples or family members of non-minorities and minorities including. Generally to couples. Period. And you are not minorities, let alone family ones, you do not call and persuade minorities. And not minorities, including those who are in a couple or family, to spend time with you. Because once again, we are all human beings, we can be tempted. Why seduce? Again, because then it will be your problems, when those same monsters in the center of the city that you live in. They will come to overcome this couple, whom the Bible describes in the same head, as angels and people at the same time. Because in this case, the monsters came to tempt the couple, not Lot, and you will get the batch. Since the couple told you directly and clearly that we are staying on the street, but for some reason you start to persuade them. Summing up all that the Father wants to say in this little piece is exactly what is that the marriage of people and man with God must be conscious. Decide who you want to live with, then start a family. Because the problems begin exactly from here, that you start a family, and then you begin to be determined. Since the Bible speaks directly and clearly about all this in the same chapter, and those who know this will agree, that no matter what treats there are, they will remain unleavened bread for couples. It's the usual normal picture here, right? Comes home, except that Lotto has a wife and 2 daughters. For some reason, Lot cooks for them. Do you understand? Here is just another freeze frame, confirmation of everything I'm talking about above. For those who know this story to the end, they are already aware that Lot has both a wife and 2 daughters, about whom nothing is said at all at the moment, which is also very strange. I doubt that Lot and his wife lived separately. And why is nothing said about them? I talk about this further. In our time, it's called bisexuals who are with a girl and with guys. Things are bad for you, friends. You're in a bad way. It's about you here. A minority. Proby. Just right. Everything is considered here. All of this. This whole question. Yes. Something that the Bible doesn't say directly, because I'm here to tell you directly now, and not at that time, 2,000 years ago. In these lines, it is shown that the men are trying to please the two guys who came. Yes, we are not talking about angels to the mind. They are not angels. Bye. We'll get to that. Why, again, we remove this one, omit the moment for now, that these are angels, you will understand further. Because it is clearly described further, right? And you will understand, and you will think for sure what is logical. At least think logically. He strongly persuaded them. Yes, they broke down like that. Yes, he also set the table for them instead. Well, how would a wife be covered, right? Sort of. Women usually do this, right? And then he suddenly. Nothing is said about the daughters yet about the wife. Let's put it this way, on a human level, some kind of flirtation began at that bakery, they have. At that club, yes. I'm addressing minorities right now so that you can hear me right. What is it about? Let's just do what I'm telling you right away. For those who see sheep and shafts, I'm telling you so that you can hear me. And for those who are minorities, bisexuals, right? And for you, I'm telling you exactly for the reason that you are in chaos. That's what the Bible says here. Having sex is bad. That's not what this is about. Yes. And shutting down and sitting here is not about that. There are asodomias here. That is, these nudists, yes, which is on the radio in America. On the radio, my friends, think about it. Yes. There is a song about a female genital organ that begins with the letter P. 5 letters, yes. Ends with the letter A. Everyone understood, right? This is a song that sounds on the radio. Well, that is, the clip is appropriate, and it is available on YouTube and everywhere. Well, that is, you have snakes and tigers there, and she sat down on the twine. Well, the set of words of this musical masterpiece, I think you should not list. And people watch and dance and laugh about it. Yes, that is, someone is laughing, and someone is not laughing, and someone is frothing. And we understand that all the advertising covers, all the billboards, that is, people are directly already undressed, naked. The Garden of Gomorrah is going on. That's what the Garden of Gomorrah is about. Only in the Garden of Gomorrah was the cry of the people heard that the Lord would deliver the cities from these here. This is from this bullet, which is already on display, and it is impossible to get around. And in our time, in my opinion, no one is shouting. And this whole story absorbs them. Yes, that is, it drags them. What is the problem of piracy? What is the problem of sodomy? What is the problem of cheating, and so on? Yes, the problem is that when you start playing it, you flirt with it. And this is Satan's move, right? One pawn of some kind, let's say, on this big game board. There's a pawn called fornication. Here. And this pawn penetrates the heart and kills love. That's it. It would seem so. That's it. And when love is killed in you, demons, everyone else, penetrate you. That's the essence of this metaphor. But here, as you understand, everyone considers themselves believers. Everyone thinks that they are with the Lord God because they bought and wear a cross. But then they have Sodom, Gomorrah, and divination. But they still consider themselves children of God. You see, this is exactly what I'm talking about in the Judas kiss lesson. This is exactly what I'm talking about in the Judas kiss lesson. You must understand that the war is spiritual. Satan gives it in the form of a holiday, and thus people receive the mark of the beast. That's it. And since we are on a planet of free choice, people make the choice. That's what I've been talking about all this time, right? But this question comes to me more than once. I always knew, without reading the lots, I knew that there was a basic agreement exactly about this. In the eyes of everyone else, are we sick? Yes. You will now understand why they think so. And to you, dear believer and knowledgeable of the Bible, you will understand that you are wrong. Yes, that it's not a sin. The sin of sodomy. That is, you should understand this. Glory to you, Father, glory, 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 Jesus Christ. They had not yet gone to bed when the townspeople, Sodomlands, from young to old. All the people from all over the city surrounded the house. Now the fun begins, right? Here is a man with 2 daughters and a wife who lives in the city center, where gays are young and old. Why live in a city like this? The first question is one. Well, here's a fig answer me. Here you are living a rabbit, and you want to live in the middle. These are wolf packs. What other elementary words explain what is written here? I know how, but for me it causes laughter, indignation, and in general a mix of such emotions that you see me, that is. So it may be true it's too early for you. Father, I don't know. It's easy for me. I do not know how. That is, here it's elementary to think that why do you live in a city unless you live in the city of debauchery, and it's not the first day, it's not the first time you see these people. Why do you live there with people, your daughters and wives? But why? I don't understand. Logically, as a person, I would have packed a suitcase from such a city and gone. And when you know, you're the only good one, and there are only freaks around. Yes, well, why live if you're so good among the freaks? But then again, he lived there and never. So far, and in general, I have read up to 15. But it has never been said that I fought every day with everyone, cursed them, and said that they were freaks. There is no such thing. Yes. And why? Yes, because this is a parable about angels and demons, by the way. That is, residents from small to large surrounded the house. Immediately draw a picture. Such zombies are coming, and it's surrounding the house of a good lot with a family. Weird, right? Why do you live in a cemetery? Well, by the way, maybe he does, since that's what he likes. Maybe it turned him on too, right? We can't judge Lotto for that. Well, logically think about it, so you will, well, think about it. Just ask yourself a question. Everything will be clear to you at once about someone we are talking about, and about what. That's what we're talking about. Yes, two young guys came, but not loving clubs, drugs, and general debauchery. Group sex and porn is alien to them. That's what we're talking about here. Here come to such young men, and Lot is waiting for them. Because, well, as if he knows that guests will come, yes, monsters. They came and called Lot, and told him where are the people. People. Here he says the angels have come, but these people from young to old see people. Ordinary people are seen. Do you understand? If you know that you expelled Adam and Eve from paradise. Paradise was on earth, but they were expelled. But they're all on the same ground. And all the same Adam and Eve, except that they realized that they are not in paradise. If you understand this, then how can you not understand when I tell you that there was a man? But a man was sent from God exactly according to the same scheme. Be fruitful and multiply. So they see people for the first time already, right? A clue for you. The question is exactly this. Where are the people who came to you for the night? Bring them to us, we will know them. Well, that is, well, this is a normal nightclub theme for boys and girls, yes. Any new meat, yes, in our words, any new meat, it should be tasted. It's not about the lot anymore, it's just about two young guys who came to the lot. And all these zombies saw that here comes with young guys. Do you understand? Through the city too, why? Again to the question, to live in such a city, right? Also walk and tease. That is, the rabbit went with the children, with kittens. And here such four hungry can. Draw such a picture for yourself. By the way, infection, yes, we consider people, animals, and angels and demons. So I went out to them at the entrance and locked the door behind me. We've already arrived. We need to sort it out somehow. And he goes out, locks the door and says, "My brothers, do not do evil." Here, at all levels that we consider exactly one meaning, right? And that's where the second hook starts, right? The 8th text. I have 2 daughters who have not known a husband. I'm wondering, no one is. I've read it once, and it's clear to me. Indeed, and you who have been going to church there for millions of years, and have not seen these 2 moments now, which I consider a little later. I'm wondering, answer me this question. Here I have 2 daughters who have not known a husband. I'd rather bring them to you. Do with them whatever you want to say. Weird, right? Imagine yourself in this situation. You go out like this to the monsters from your house and say, yes, in short, do whatever you want with them, but don't touch them. At least a very strange story. Strange why? Because there is no question that he is sacrificing his daughters. And here we are just starting to look at this story as angels and demons. Yes. In other words, we consider the institute to be angels, demons. Homosexuals, for example, right? Here from the reverse. That is, we know the saying that one sheep spoils the whole flock. And here is a flock that also needs this one sheep. That's where it reads, right. He's trying to hide. He understands the situation, right. Well, because his father told him that two angels were coming. The demons came to take the angels. And draw an analogy for yourself so that you understand, right. The city from small to large, demons and clubs. We know everything that drugs, clubs are not from God. Group sex, porn, it's not from God. Yes, I am the minority to you, both girls and boys. Everyone has the same story. I speak your language to make it clear to you. You understand that all of this and it is not from God. That's what it describes to you. Yes, that's why, that's the reason I'm here. Therefore, for this reason, I am in the same situation as you are. And it's easy to handle. You can only ask for the Holy Spirit. Here I have two daughters who did not know her husband. I'd rather bring them to you. Do whatever you want with them. Well, sort of okay. Just don't do anything to people with it. Since they came under the roof of my house, they have such traditions. The ones who came to our house, right. You have no right to touch anyone. Yes, and the Bible writes about this many times, about the fact that you knock will be opened to you. Yes, you will not open it yourself. No one will come into you. This is exactly about it. Until you enter this territory yourself, no one will drag you there. We are on a planet of free choice. All the time that humanity has existed, there have always been temptations. Always. And the bulk, yes, we remember the story with Noah. Ron is the same story, yes, practically. That is, there was Noah, whose father built the ship. That's it. The Lord understands you. It will be done. People, it's going to rain. They didn't hear. Yes, it's exactly the same story as yes, only here it's about temptation. Yes, we're talking. The owner of the house protects guests from fascists, roughly speaking, right. And the same ones are caught, right. They have, for example, some agreements with the owner of the house there, but at least because he lives in the center of it. In the center of the city of fascists. Which for me again, yes, again we're coming back. Well, apparently they agreed on it. Let's omit the moment, because it's not important to us. How Lot agreed with the gay lesbian city that he would live here and no one would touch me or my daughters. Very strange, isn't it? And what happens? In other words, he tells us, guys, we agreed with you. Well, in short, he understands that if the guys are touched now, he will be responsible for it. Yes. Well, he doesn't want to be responsible for that. What happens next? But the ninth one just says what I said at the beginning, right? About why a rabbit lives among wolves. Why be a black sheep? Yes. Well, let's do this again like this. The ninth is talking about it. But they said to him, come here. And they said, you know what the alien, and specifically according to the Bible, here is the alien, and wants to judge with our words. Listen, you shouldn't be here at all. And are you going to set this condition for us yet? Here it is, then this is what we are talking about. Now we will make things worse with you, they say. Well, it makes sense. Rather than with them. It's understandable, right? And then we'll do more with them. It's about that here. There are clubs for certain people. Yes. And there are those who. And there are those who. Again, who are we talking about? Bisexual. Very much started to man everything. That is, klotu. They began to push. The pressure has started. Here are just the same parallels again. Yes, here we can already look at the pressure of the people on the lotto. Yes, on the neighbors poking. Well, here's just the pressure. And the parallel holds pressure on parents, right? And again, this is not only for my mother, it's for all parents who have such children. Yes, who think it's a sin, now it is. We need to treat him. Treat yourself, not the children. Don't touch the children. They went so far as to break down the door. Yes, the 10th, and then the men stretched out their hands and led Lo to their house and locked the door. But here it is very interesting. Yes, another third hook. Yes, that is, no one paid attention to the fact that the guests came, but took the lot to their house. How's that? In one chapter, Jesus baptizes, exactly in the next chapter. Although Jesus himself did not baptize, the disciples did. Have you ever wondered why this is? Then he baptized, then he didn't baptize. What a daisy, right? So that's exactly the chamomile I was explaining to you about, right? That Jesus baptized through the disciples. He was baptizing. He baptizes through such crying in the desert. Well, figuratively speaking, baptizes, right? That is, I say, I repeat again, that I did not come here to baptize, to give the sign of the cross, and to immerse you in water. That's not the point. Yes, that's exactly the same story here, yes. You didn't explain it to yourself in any way, let's explain it. And here we are already moving to the spiritual plane of man. That is, here we are already starting to look at the beginning, yes, roughly speaking, such a story that Lot is talking to his father. His father says, they will come from me to fight sodomy. Save these angels, right? 2. Because they will come in the form of people. That's what they tell you, isn't it? There was a man just from God. 2 guys came. And the fact that they did not come from heaven by stairs, but were born, grew up like ordinary people, but they were sent from God. I hope I don't need to explain this to you. And now he understands that I need to protect them. Everyone starts breaking down. What are the guys doing? And here we quickly jump to our human level. Lot stood, what I said in the beginning, right? Lot was standing in front of the entrance to a nightclub, a gay nightclub. Then it dawns on you that this is not the case. I have a wife and children, and they bring him into their house. And they're already bringing him in, taking away a person who is being attacked by demons. Why don't you go and get drunk? Go there interestingly. Maybe. Yes. And here we can talk about everything. Because when temptation appears, the devil only needs a clue. Then you have everything like clockwork. There are friends who tell you that the wife will not move the wall. You have new toys. You have people who give you a bunch of, as it seems to you, the right advice, thanks to which you have the idea that, well, he won't know, but life is short, you have to have fun. And so on. You know all this. You know all your weak points, to which the devil has millions of ways to tempt you. For each situation, he has his own clearly developed plan from the beginning of time, to keep you on earth forever. Well, you know what I mean. This is exactly the question of bisexuals. Yes, that's if you understand that bye-bye is called dragging a cross. Decide whether you are with her or with him. Because then it will start if you are with her, but went to them. This is where your problems begin. You break a person's heart, either this or that. You need to decide. It's about you here too, by and large. For the most part, right. Well, that's it. That's just one of all the by, for example, right. Which wife, kids, and then he walks past this bakery every day. And then he decides that the family, the children, everything. I close my nose and walk like this. And this is your victim, right? Your cross. About those who do not feel themselves in the body. Yes, and thinks he was born to be a woman, and changes his gender. Or there she was born to be a man and changes gender. We talked about you yesterday. This is your cross. This is your sacrifice. You see, you have to drag it, and in no case cut anything off. Do not sew it on. They're taking him home. It's exactly about the fact that behind each of us, again, there are angels or a demon. That is, the angels chopped up the demons who were behind the lot. Yes. Which stuck to the lot. Here we go to the spiritual plane, right? And what do we see? The fact that an angel is in the city of demons. Demons have already started hacking him. In short, he can't cope alone, his Lord. But the Lord sends him to more angels under his foot. Yes, 2 cities, probably, as it were. If they are all sodomy, then there is certainly one angel here. One angel can chop a lot, but not all. Yes, here we are talking about it. The Lord gives him another spirit, and those drank Lot is saved. That's it. This is what we are talking about on a spiritual level, on a spiritual plane. So they helped the angel, right? Roughly speaking, locked the door. They brought him home. Yes, the spiritual plan, so they brought him back and said, Father, it's even scary to look there. And the people who were at the entrance to the house, well, by the way, are not only a minority, and please, those who know the Bible, yes. Listen to what Sodom and Gomorrah are talking about. And the people who were at the entrance to the house were struck with blindness from small to large. So they were exhausted from the search for an entrance, but on a human level, just if we take a person. It's generally some kind of nonsense. Well, the nonsense is incomprehensible. Can you imagine? Right. First of all, you live with your wife and children in a city where there are only homosexuals. And you're the only one who's not a homosexual. Once. A strange topic. That is, if one homosexual lives in the city. That's what happens, again, to people like me. And I stand up in defense. Why? Yes, because we get it from the opposite, right? There are fewer of us. We live in a straight town. Yes, there is one who lives in the city straight, where he is being bullied, and also the government says that it is some kind of propaganda. Someone is doing something. Well, here's the question to this. What does a person do? From a very young age, he locks himself in a closet and then sits there poor all his life. We return to this text and to the analogy of oddities. Oddities, why don't you see it? To the questions in my head, how do you who know the Bible read this? And you do not have any questions that you just need to sit on and not even think about. Not the obvious one. A rabbit among wolves. The second strange thing is that, okay, imagine the people. One straight guy lives in a gay town, right? And then 2 came. 2, in your opinion, straight from God. So that you don't have any questions. What does he want to say that only gays come from God? No, not alone. From God come the children of God. Do you understand? John had no family. He was a fasting man from God. I have no family. I am a messenger from God. In the 19th, it is said that an angel came with his wife, and an angel with an angel. 2 guys came. Well, as if you have no questions, then that's fine. So don't ask me them. If you don't even take 5 minutes to think, but what is it about here? But already judge these people, burn them. You say we're going to have problems, and that's it. You take the sin on your soul. You'll hear me right now, won't you? The second is that zombies. Come on, bad people. A bad city has started one house, where there are 3 good guys, and there are 2 daughters and a wife. The Lord blinds these people. It blinds everyone. The whole city blinds again, which is very strange. Well, what's even more strange is that I don't know how many people lived in Sodom at that time, but imagine this huge rally here. The whole city from small to large came together at one point. Suddenly, all this is so blind, right? Well, in human language, just look at it, and you will understand that this is some kind of incredible story that could not have happened. Yes. And when you look with spiritual eyes, it's just tormenting to look for an entrance. This is about you clubs lovers of group sex and so on. Yes, there is exactly the point, that you are blinded by all this, and you do not see the entrance in front of which you are standing, into the kingdom of heaven. Yes, I say again, we are non-traditional people. Each of you could be standing in my place right now, but you are not standing exactly because you are mired in this in everything. The devil has won you.
Выиграл вас.
When you realize that demons are attacking an angel. The war of angels and demons, yes, that's what I've been telling you about from the very beginning. You will see the news in a different way, the world in a different way, the lot and the story in a different way. Look at your family differently, your neighbors. Let's move to the language that exists from the earth. People started, they were blinded, but they did not scream, did not fall into some kind of panic. Yes, and what is written here? They were exhausted looking for an entrance. They were exhausted looking for an entrance to the house. That is, I imagine. Imagine yourself, you come to someone, yes, the door is closed in front of you. You were standing in front of the door. First of all, they make you blind, and you instead of what? You begin to suffer to look for the entrance in front of which you are standing. Think about it. 2. But this is it again, this is at our level of a person. And if at the spiritual level, what happens? And here I am addressing you, a minority, yes. It's just talking about you here. Something that I said without reading it yet, and the fact that I know that the Garden of Gomorrah is not a deflection. That is, but thanks to this parable, yes, minorities should understand who gets in and who doesn't. Those angels, too, and the big angel don't fall. Why? I'll explain it to you now. Precisely because this parable is viewed in several planes, from several angles and sides. This is what makes it difficult. But I'll explain it to you now. And thanks to this explanation, you will also understand why Lot was afraid of God. To do this, we need to quickly go back to the beginning, to the first verse, and run through it again. That is, what do we see? The picture is exactly such that, verse 1, Lot wins the first fight by resisting temptation. Verse 3, Lot loses the second fight, succumbs to temptation, and on top of this, he also seduces a couple who, attention, resisted. So in the future she is innocent. And verse 8, Lot washed up, standing up for the couple in front of the pressure of the city. In turn, he needed to wash only before the Lord God, since for others he remained a family man. What is the conclusion? Exactly like this. You can flirt with anyone. Make sure you don't break anyone's heart. Have you seen offending non-traditional people? Step in, get a bonus. God is love. And everyone else gets caught. He will burn all the former angels who were not made angels, who are mired in clubs, group sex, porn, drugs, and so on. These are my friends. You know perfectly well what I'm talking about. Therefore, you, the minority, will hear me and draw conclusions. Because the time is now. Tomorrow will be too late. Repentance, Father. That's it. Ask for the Holy Spirit in 1 second and forget about everything at all. As soon as they repented, the truth. Pakali, so they did not return to this anymore. Because you came here with other things, friends. Only you didn't understand it. And there the work goes right smoothly. A cigarette is all for you. They're closing you down, you already like the music and the club, and it's actually fun. And you stay there. That's it. And then you don't have what? What kind of salvation of the world do you need? You and the children. These are the ones that are fruitful, multiply mission. That's why they don't let you near the children. Do you understand? That's why they want to burn you. That is, 12 verses later, only yes, it is already about some normal people. The cry of the inhabitants. That is somehow. Then from small to large, then the cry of the inhabitants, whom he then burns, by the way, right. Also a strange topic. The cry of the inhabitants. It is clear that not 1, not 2, not 3. This is a lot of people who prayed to God for help. According to your logic, yes. There was a cry, they begged for help, and he brings out one lot, and burns all of them. There will be 2 cities. He didn't hear them on yours. Think about it. And Abraham came and said, Will you destroy the righteous with the wicked?
Неужели ты погубишь праведного с нечестивым?
Maybe there are 50 righteous people in this
Есть в
city.
этом городе 50 праведников.
Will you destroy and not spare this place for the sake of the 50 righteous in it? Can it be that you have done such a thing, that you have destroyed the righteous with the wicked?
Чтобы ты поступил так, чтобы ты погубил праведного с нечестивым.
So that it may also be with the righteous as with the wicked.
Что с нечестивым
It can't be from
не
you.
может быть от тебя.
Will the judge of the whole earth act unjustly?
Поступит ли неправосудно?
The Lord said, If I find 50 righteous men in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake.
Праведников, то я ради них пощажу все место сие.
Abraham said,
Авраам сказал,
May the Lord not be
«Да
angry
не
that I say one more
погневается
time.
владыка, что я скажу еще однажды.
Maybe there are
Может
10 there.
быть, найдется там 10.
He said,
Он сказал,
I will not destroy for the
«Не
sake of
истреблю
10.
ради 10».
And the Lord
И
went
пошел
away,
Господь,
ceasing to speak with
перестав
Abraham.
говорить с Авраамом.
But Abraham
Авраам
returned
же
to his place.
возвратился в свое место.
The cry of the inhabitants, that is, somehow. Then from small to large, then, the cry of the inhabitants. He didn't hear them in your opinion. Think about it. Because it's just about the spiritual, about the world here. Yes, what? Here you need to look at two parallels at once, but the spiritual plan and the human plan. Yes, there is a little difficulty in this. Well, yes, if I was talking about the fact that it's funny if you read just through the eyes of the beings of the earth. This is generally an incomprehensible story then. But if you somehow admit the moment that angels, the spiritual world, are angels and demons, and for each of us there are either angels or without, then that becomes logical. But you understand that on a human level, people have asked, yes, that Lord, well, sodomy already. Here, well, look what hell and debauchery is here. And we have our children here. And God burns these cities. It burns. What? He burns the demons in these cities, he burns. Brings out the lot, right? It turns out that the Lord burns demonism, debauchery, and all this tin, roughly speaking, right? But he leaves the people who? Imagine asking my father for help from a lot of people. But the angels came only to Lot and brought out the lots. But it can't be like that. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out from her, my people, so that you do not participate in her sins, and do not be exposed to her plagues. This proves the parable of Sod and Gomorrah to you like nothing else, right? That God, He didn't kill everyone in the literal sense of the city. He said, My people, get out of the city. I have sent you angels and the people in the form of one lot. Yes. Here is one, the personification of all the people who came out of God from these cities. And the cities were burned, is generally some kind of incomprehensible topic. The guests start asking Lot, what? So you think that the angels who came to visit Lot do not know that he has a daughter and a wife? That is, his father didn't tell him about it, somehow kept silent. Also a strange topic, right? Next. And now, what I was talking about before I started reading this. Yes, it's just about bisexuals. Yes, those who are undecided. They are with a girl and a boy. That's just the bath. The 14th text. And for those who are straight, it's not for you at all. You will never understand this in your life. And at the moment, I'm not arguing with you, I'm just loudly proving why I'm right. Hear me as the voice of the crying desert. If so, explain to me the meaning of the Bible and the God you believe in. I do not know who you believe in. I believe in Jesus Christ, the God of love, who created us all. And in God and in the Father of God. Do you understand? And they can't say that you are 5 years old, who understand that you are not like that or how much you are already a sin. A paradox. Why create such people if He creates us? Think about it.
Подумайте об этом.
Why deliberately create sin on earth?
Заведомо создавать грех на землю.
Explain to me
Объясните
this
мне
huge
этот
question knowledgeable.
огромный вопрос, знающие.
For those who are straight,
Для тех,
this is
кто
not for you at all.
натуралы, это
You will
вообще
never
для вас, вы
understand
это
this in
никогда
your
в жизни
life.
не поймете.
I'm telling you right
Вам
away.
сразу говорю. Потому
Because
что
you
вы-
are.
если моя мама
If my mother
родная,
is my
и
own,
брат мой
and my
родной не
brother
может
cannot
понять,
understand that I am from
что
God,
я
that I
от
am not a
Бога,
sin.
что я не грех.
I understood from a young age that my father would not burn me for making me like this, even if my mom and brother can't hear and understand it by reading this. Therefore, now I am addressing only those who understand me, minorities and bisexuals. Again, because bisexuals. It's such a phenomenon. They are there, they live among you. Maybe your neighbors. Google it, right? Who are bisexuals, again? That's exactly what we are talking about in this verse. And he went out and said to his sons-in-law in the 8th, he says that I have 2 daughters who have not known a husband. And already in the 14th, in the same chapter, he says that Lot also went out and told his sons-in-law who took his daughters for themselves. Have you had any questions? One head, where it says that they didn't know their husband, but they were married. I don't understand how you don't see it. You, those who attended seminaries, graduating from schools, those who are pastors, and say that gays should be. They are not of God. Yes, this is what you are instilling in our parents. This responsibility is hanging on you, do you understand? On you, friends. Pastors and priests and priests. I am addressing you because you don't see anything in one head that you should know. You claim that you know the Bible and say that the Lord will burn these people. Yes, and the Lord is here for you who are not revealed, who have been taught in seminaries, schools of the church by people. Yes. He writes to you here, think about it. I'm not fighting with you. I'm trying to explain to you. Your father will explain it all to you quickly in due time, right? When you know what I said, and then he'll give you a bang, and already you'll understand that Diamond was right. And there are only universal, gigantic scale problems here. Just imagine how many sheep you, as shafts, pass unknowingly to the devil. And I'm explaining to you why. Because most of the lion's share of minorities are convinced that they are going to hell because they are non-traditional. And they were convinced of this by you, who know the scriptures in quotation marks. As a result, most of them do not even have hope. And I know this firsthand. Most of the people of non-traditional orientation really think so. And this is in addition to the fact that they are subject to pressure, beatings, persecution, mockery, and ridicule of the world around them every single day, thanks to you who know the Holy Scriptures in quotation marks. And as a result of the loss of hope for salvation, people are lost. And here Satan comes into the arena, who gives them gay pride parades and everything else that goes there in addition to them. And at the government level, there is a law on gay propaganda. How Christian is that, isn't it? I'm explaining it to you and your parents now, right? Those who listen to such learned pastors. And you have become so blind, because after reading the 19th chapter, you did not understand, and, well, in short, it's about them, about gays. And you will be responsible for it. And then, do you really think that God in the 18th chapter of Genesis speaks about gays exclusively about the male sex? Then please answer me the question, and what will happen to lesbians, who, in percentage terms, many times exceed the male sex of homosexuality? And here we must understand that your answer to this question is, but they're girls. It doesn't work. Again, yes, a quick run. The pun is incomprehensible in this chapter. Well, it also says that. The 8th one says, take daughters whose husbands did not know. And in the 14th, it is said that they took his daughters for themselves. Yes. And here it just says that. About that category of bisexuals. You know which ones. It turns out that they did not marry. Yes, that is, yes, if formally, officially they signed there, yes, he runs back and forth. And if your wife doesn't know, then you guys will? Your father will be there. Your father is not waiting for you home, for those who have come and gone. There is no need for those who came and went to God from God. Such people are not needed at the human level, but if you marry a girl, say yes, I love you, made this covenant, and then you start sneaking around. It doesn't matter to whom. To women, to men. It doesn't matter anymore. It's you who lie to a person and say, I love you. This is what we are talking about here. Treason. About treason, yes, roughly speaking. Bisexuals attribute this to themselves, but it's about infidelity as well. Yes, here they are 50-50. And it doesn't matter if the wife knows or not. God knows. That's it. And your books are there. Even what you thought. And then everything is explained easily and simply, that in the 8th it says that they were virgins. And in the 14th it says that those who took into marriage, but they took into marriage that, but they are not married. Because they are not there, not here, which means no. Because the Father says in all respects that those with the seal of God will soon stand on the right hand, and those with the mark of the beast on the left, and those who are in the middle, in any sense they will not be. The people will be divided. The persecution is about to begin. And those on the left, those who stayed in the clubs, this is about them now, right? And you can't help but sit and draw devilish circles. It's not about that. The fact is that he did not give up drugs. The mark of the beast. You're going to be melted down. He gave up everything, cleansed himself. The seal of God. That's where it is, how it goes. Since this topic is Sodom and Gomorrah, you think it's about gays, so let's talk about them, right? To people with a non-traditional orientation, whom the Father asks to protect from sodomy. Here he closes them, treats them. Here he invites, persuades, locks the door, feeds the poet, and, going out, says, take my daughters better, but don't touch them. That is why the angels take Lot and take him out of the city quickly. And the city burns at your human level. 14th, right. So get them out of town. Here he comes to his sons-in-law and says that get up, get out of the whole place, for the Lord will destroy the whole city. You have quite a bit of time, or it's goodbye my boy will be. Goodbye, my darling. That will be all, and we have said goodbye to you. And the last line in this verse, yes, it is for someone. It is for all of you, for all gays and minorities and non-minorities. It is clear to all of you. Here we attribute just this line simply to sinful people who are mired in sin. Yes, the line is exactly the same, but it seemed to his children that he was joking. You understand it in other words, it's you who have forgotten that even this is already. You don't hear what's going on around you, and you don't know what's going on around you. Hung out, drowned in the fire. That this already concerns everyone, and not about that. Don't deal with it, no. God gave it to create children, to satisfy the flesh. Yes, he's talking about something else here. He's talking about sodomy. That's what he called the cities, right? It is also not for nothing that those who drowned in the fire will remain in the fire. Let's do the final chord. We have a lot of other people who are not bothered by the minority and are worried about other issues. The final chord of all this is read the 15th yes, when the dawn rose. The angels began to hurry Lot, saying, get up, take your wife, and your 2
Возьми
daughters
жену
who are
твою
with
и
you,
2 дочерей
so that you
твоих,
do not perish
которые
for
у
the
тебя,
iniquity of the city.
чтобы не погибнуть тебе за беззаконие города.
In a nutshell, the father says, the rabbit took the baby rabbits, and from a place in which you should not have been initially.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.